Well, wagons roll at the start of the fourth and final OK heat race. And the poleman, Ross Martin, slips to second. And the closing speed into the first hairpin in these OK karts is absolutely phenomenal. It's the number 10, Clement Novalak, leading the way. Then it's Martin, Luke Knott up to third. Dean MacDonald and Oliver Hodgson, who have been disputing the victory so far this weekend, find themselves fourth and fifth. Can they work their way through? It's not traffic. It's three extremely quick, talented drivers in front of them. Archie Tillett is behind them, and Tillett on that Fullerton kart hasn't quite had the pace of the front group, but has been best of the rest, and significantly has stayed on track and finished. Points mean prizes, especially when it comes to grid positions for the pre-finals. And behind the Fullerton kart is Harrison Thomas, the driver of kart number 26 from the People's Republic of Merthyr Tydfil. And behind Thomas is Shay Pierce, under pressure from Zach Falk. Falk, in the 34 Coles kart, squeezes Shay Pierce and makes the move. And Shay Pierce then loses momentum. Gus Lawrence goes through in the number 85. And Connor Jupp was also investigating the possibility of making a pass as well. Did it work? Yes, it did. Pierce slips to 11th in the number 16 Litchfield Motorsport kart, ahead of Ben Davis and Chris Lawrence. Fastest lap, Oliver Hodgson, 56.12. And the pressure is beginning to mount on the number 44 of Luke Knott and the number 33 of Ross Martin. Martin, you can see just checking over his left shoulder there as he comes at the short chute, as though he was half expecting to see a Tony kart nose cone appearing, but it didn't. Meanwhile, Clement Novalak in kart number 10, stretching his advantage, 0.6 of a second. Martin, head down, holding off Luke Knott. Then it's MacDonald and Hodgson. Hodgson right on MacDonald's rear bumper now, and he's just going to worry the Scotsman for the time being. He's going to see what Dino is made of. I don't think he can push Dean into a mistake, although you never know. There's the move for second. Luke Knott passes Ross Martin, and MacDonald goes with him, but Ross Martin fights back. And retakes his countryman and Luke Knott in one foul swoop. And now the two Scotsmen are side by side. Clement Novalak enjoys this because he's extending his lead. 6 karts battling over second place. And I think as they go around the Bobby Game corner, Hodgson, in the midst of all that, passed Knott, so gained a place. MacDonald emerges in second. Martin third. Hodgson fourth, and Knott fifth. Tillett and Fulk and Thomas also in that group, as they go onto the banking for the 5th time, with Clement Novalak setting another new fastest lap, 55.80 seconds, and a lunge by MacDonald coming off the bridge sees him take second place. Hodgson grabs third as Ross Martin worries about staying on track. Martin now fights back against Luke Knott, who Harrison Thomas, I think, got is braking a little bit wrong. That he was trying to make a move on Archie Tillett, and Tillett had to stamp on the anchors because in front of him Knott and Hodgson were side by side, with Martin making a move as well. Contact was made, but everybody emerges relatively unscathed, and actually Harrison Thomas hasn't gained any ground. He's lost a bit of ground. Luke Knott's beginning to fade backwards now. Luke Knott's probably thinking to himself, so this is what lap 6 looks like. Novalak, another new fastest lap, 55.61. His lead, 1.57 seconds. And Hodgson assumes position about 6 inches off the rear bumper of Dean McDonald's kart. It's a good second hairpin there from Hodgson. And I think, are we going to see a move into the Bobby Game corner where McDonald's not expecting it? No, not this time. But Hodgson has written his letter of intent and posted it to the number 51 kart. And it is game on from here on in. Martin is fourth is no longer a factor, for this battle at least. Neither is Tillett in fifth, not in sixth, Thomas in seventh, and then Gus Lawrence leads the next group of karts in eighth place, with Zach Falk, Connor Jupp, Shay Pierce, Ben Davis and Chris Lawrence next in line. Down the hill, into the first hairpin. Oh, Clement Novalak actually missed the apex there. It was a little bit shoddy coming out of that first hairpin. Took a little bit too much of the serrated curbs. And he only lost 0.2 of a second though to McDonald and Hodgson. And I think Dean McDonald will be more focused on just not necessarily catching the leader, but making sure that this little almost personal rivalry, it's not a bitter rivalry, I'm not saying that they're sending derogatory messages to each other on Facebook, but McDonald and Hodgson certainly having a really good game of one-upmanship here. Neither wants to show the other any weakness, and McDonald saying to Hodgson, anything you can do I can do better, and Hodgson likewise. Novalak's lead now just 1.3 seconds, so well, McDonald is spurring himself on to maybe even catch the leader, and Hodgson's going with him. This is the sign of two good drivers, because when they apply pressure to each other, they don't tend to see mistakes. They just get quicker and quicker and quicker. As the pressure increases, they drive better. And they have now put a full second between themselves and Ross Martin in fourth. And Martin is a couple of kart lengths clear of Tillett. As the leaders come into hairpin number one. Once again, Novalak misses his braking point, runs a little bit wide on the exit of the corner. He needs to nip that in the bud. And move by Zach Falk on Gus Lawrence into the Fullerton S's works. Connor Jupp sees an opportunity to pounce as well. Does so. And that was also Shay Pierce and I believe Ben Davis passing Lawrence. So Lawrence goes from 8th down to what is 12th, I think. And once again, that little mistake from Novalak costs him a couple of tenths. The gap now 1.1 seconds between Novalak and McDonald. Hodgson not in a position to make a move yet on Dino. Into the second hairpin. And once again, through sector number one, McDonald and Hodgson are a tenth quicker than Novalak. We've got less than a minute to go, so don't think we're going to see a battle for the lead. Certainly, the battle for second is brewing. They start lap number 11. Hodgson, within a kart length or two of McDonald's, they head out onto the banking. But McDonald doesn't defend. Comes off turn 4. Dean just wants to drive as though Hodgson is not even there. Around the first hairpin. That tactic might change ever so slightly when the last lap board comes out. And because this is the fastest class we have seen in direct drive karting for some time, Dean McDonald has set the lap record in OK, 55.32 seconds. And now the last lap board goes out. Novalak leads comfortably. What will Oliver Hodgson in the number 49 kart do about Dean McDonald? He's been studying the rear bumper of that kart for some time. And off the bridge they come. McDonald doesn't defend. Well, let's see if Hodgson can get close enough to make a move. If he can, fair enough. But if he can't, then that is a superb piece of race-long driving from McDonald to not even let Hodgson close enough to have a dabble at second place. And they're running out of corners. Clement Novalak will take his first win of the weekend. He comes out to the final corner. Clement Novalak is victorious. McDonald second, and no, Hodgson didn't get close enough to make a move. Good race between those two, though. Really applied an awful lot of pressure to each other. Neither cracked. Or rather, Dean McDonald certainly didn't crack. And Hodgson will put that one in the memory banks for tomorrow. Ross Martin finishes fourth. A better day for the Scotsman in number 33 right kart today than yesterday. And Archie Tillett rounds out a solid set of heats in fifth. Luke Knott sees the checkered flag for the first time all weekend. He finishes sixth. Harrison Thomas seventh. Zach Folk eighth. Ben Davis in ninth. Then Shea Pierce, Gus Lawrence, Connor Jupp and Chris Lawrence. And whisper it, all 13 starters finished for the first time this week. Hopefully we will not see a repeat of yesterday's mechanical dramas that could spoil a potentially cracking OK pre-final and final. Speaking of pre-finals, at the end